That's in Sedona.
That's
Hola.
That's from a couple years ago.
Talk about them anymore. We're not talking about the mean things I'm saying about my neighbors. Okay. Cosas antipáticas que digo de mis vecinos. No, la mayoría de mis vecinos son buena gente. Most of my neighbors are very nice people. It's just all the oddball, strange things we have happened to us. Okay. Buenas noches, buenas noches. Espero que ustedes estén bien. I hope you are well. Okay. Excelente. Bueno, espero que ustedes hayan visto. I hope you guys have seen.
Yeah, I am seeing.
Que hayan visto, sí, esa, ese vídeo de Día de Muertos, ¿no?
Sí, sí.
De la celebración es larga película. Es un largo vídeo, pero vale la pena. I did send you a somewhat long-ish vocabulary list with that, because there are a few things that were a little bit, it would be, what is that word, you know? Purépechas, I wouldn't even really know that, you know, an indigenous tribe name, but Cempasúchil, I thought, oh, that's going to throw some people. Cempasúchil es el nombre de marigold, yeah? So all that orange, all those orange petals you saw come from the cempasúchil, the marigold-like flower. I don't know if that's technically a marigold. Somebody here will know better than I.
They use marigolds.
But yes, it is the marigold, which is the traditional flower. And two other vocabulary words which were actually kind of important for that video. One is difunto, which means, you know, the deceased. And it's a much more, it's a higher level word than muerto. It's like us saying deceased instead of dead, yeah? The departed, the deceased. Difunto is a nicer, more highfalutin kind of term for that. Also, a couple of verbs associated with morirse, to die, but fallecer, also to die, but fallecer, again, a higher level kind of word. Sí,
Is fallecer to use, maybe I'm wrong, but is that used more for soldiers who've fallen?
No.
No, it isn't.
No. Falleció, you heard a couple of times in that video, falleció, and it's the same thing as saying se murió. Falleció is a little more refined term for someone died. It's kind of like us saying they passed away. So you read falleció a lot in the paper, yeah. It's a falleció would be a verb you would read a lot in the paper or hear a lot, say on a newscast. It's just a different term that means the same thing as se murió. Okay. So, okay. I hope that you enjoyed that. It is, that video is truly one of the best made, you know, video de extranjero, and made by an outsider, by a foreign person video of that experience, because I think you get a feel with that video. Part of the reason it's so long is that they talk a lot about, you know, the feelings of these people towards remembering their family members, and you really get that heartfelt feeling of the respect that people feel towards those who have gone before us within our family. And I think that is a wonderful feeling that people should take away from that celebration. And they should not think it's devil worship, as some parents in my old school district. No, it is not devil worship. I know people wear the little skeleton things, the Katrina costumes. That does not mean it is devil worship. I tried to explain this to people. No, it is not devil worship. It's remembering your beloved little, great grandma. That's what it's about, which is a good thing for all of us to do, is to think of our families. Okay. A continuar. Yeah, moving on. We're going to work on a lot on subjuntivo. And subjuntivo is very difficult for us, for those of us who are English speakers, to wrap our brains around, because we have such a poor substitute. We do a bunch of different things, but none of them are the same. They're all different. We have different ways of expressing the same thing as present subjunctive in English, but they vary. Sometimes we use an infinitive. Sometimes we use the word may. Sometimes we use the word might. Sometimes we just haven't got anything good at all to compare to it. But it's good to know that, basically you've got tres modos. There are three moods. And we always think about tenses when we learn a language, talking in the present, talking in the past, talking in the future, okay? And that's good, but present, past, future, even conditional, all of those things we think of as tenses all fit into indicative mood. And indicative indicates, that means it's talking about something that's real, something that really is happening, really did happen, really is going to happen because you planned it, okay? Whereas that second mood of imperativo, imperative, means we're ordering somebody to do something. And the kind of related to imperativo, the subjuntivo, subjunctive is a mood, and it's a good thing to call it a mood because it talks about how our emotions affect what we think about things. So it's good to call it a mood, okay? We use subjunctive when we talk about wishing for something, but wishing for somebody else to do something, yeah, for preferring that somebody do something. So really, anytime in the regular indicative, plain old present tense clause, anytime we are trying to impose our own wishes, our wants, our hopes, even our fears, even that, we've got a mood going. We want something else to happen, and that something else becomes a subjunctive. So it's very good to call that a mood because it expresses something that is not, in fact, at this very second happening. Well, maybe it just flat out isn't. Maybe it might be, maybe it could be, but we don't know. And our English is so poor to compare to this that it's very hard for us to get used to. And then you've got all the conjugation thing on top of it to get used to as well. Okay, I want to show you a brief and very tongue-in-cheek video where he's going to use that. Oh, first. No, we'll do this first. I'm going to want to show you a tongue-in-cheek video, yes, that kind of digs into this whole idea of expressing desires and that thing we have to do in Spanish of connecting subjunctive mood to that, not to the desire itself, which is a fact, but the thing that you want to happen. So I want you to hear how he uses this. I'm just going to let it roll, and I think I'm going to let it roll from here. See, okay. A ver, un momentito. So I want you to just let it wash over you and observe. I am going to turn on the closed captions because I think that will help you follow as well. And this is a video that's designed for you to see examples of subjunctive, not necessarily to explain every single step.
Ay, 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 ay. Qué frío, qué frío. Está lloviendo.
Wow, it's cold.
Necesito desayunar. Necesito tomar un café.
Oh, this is where we don't need subjunctive. I need to have a coffee. Necesito tomar un café. I need to have a coffee because it's cold and rainy outside. If I'm just talking about what I need or I want for myself, then there's no need for subjunctive. It's when I need somebody else to do something that little extra piece needs to become subjunctive. The I need is a fact. The thing I need somebody to do, well, if somebody else is doing it, not happening yet. But if I just need to do it, it's necesitar plus infinitivo. So that's what I want you to pay attention to. Necesito tomar un café. No es subjuntivo.
Necesito tomar café.
Ya, instantáneo. Guácala. No me gusta, no.
Y ahora un poco de leche, porque a mí me gusta el café con leche. Necesito poner un poco de leche. A ver, un poco de leche. ¡Ay! ¡Ay, ay, ay, ay! No tengo leche, tío, no tengo leche. Me he quedado sin leche. ¡Ay, qué leche! ¡Ay, qué leche! Me cago en la leche, coño. Me cago en la leche.
Okay, me cago en la leche is literally I take a shit in the milk. That's what that means. Me cago en la leche is a thing that Spaniards tend to say. It is a vulgar thought. First time my daughter ever heard that, she just about doubled up and rolled on the floor laughing. Me cago en la leche. It is this common thing they say. They do not really think of it as cursing. They know it is vulgar, but it's something when people are annoyed with something, you know, me cago en la leche. Okay, so just so you know, yes, that's a thing. There are worse. Sometimes it's me cago in something else that can get way worse, but this is like a mild cusser, okay?
Me he quedado sin leche, sí, claro.
Ah, I got no milk.
Se me olvidó comprar leche.
I forgot to buy it.
Se me olvidó comprar leche la última vez que fui al supermercado.
Last time I went to the
Yo
supermarket,
necesito tomar leche con el desayuno. Yo necesito leche para el café. Yo necesito tomar el café con leche. Yo no puedo tomar el café sin leche. No.
I can't drink coffee
Me
without
cago en la
milk.
leche. Me cago en la
I'm
leche.
PO'd. Basically saying I'm PO'd, me cago en la leche.
Qué amargo, qué amargo.
Oh, bitter.
No tengo leche y tampoco tengo azúcar.
I don't have any sugar
Yo
either.
así no puedo tomarme el café así,
can't
sin
drink
leche,
this
sin
coffee
azúcar.
with no love.
Está muy amargo. Yo necesito
It's
tomar
bitter.
azúcar y leche. Por
need
lo
to have
menos
sugar.
leche con el café.
At least milk.
Necesito ir al supermercado.
I gotta go to the
Necesito ir al
supermarket.
supermercado. Necesito hacer la compra.
Gotta go.
Es que tengo una memoria. Fui al supermercado el viernes pasado, pero se me olvidó. Claro, es que como
I went last Friday, but I
no había
forgot.
hecho una lista de la compra y me olvidé de todo.
Didn't have it on my
Necesito escribir antes de ir al supermercado.
write
Necesito
down
escribir
what I need.
lo que me hace falta, porque si no luego me olvido.
And if I don't, I forget
Qué
later.
leche, qué mala leche tiene esto.
Bad luck.
Necesito ir al supermercado, necesito comprar también papel higiénico, tío, que no tengo
toilet
papel
paper.
higiénico tampoco.
I got no toilet
Ay,
I got no TV.
necesito ir al supermercado. El problema es que mira qué día tan feo hace un día muy feo.
Problem is, look at what an ugly day it is. This word feo is so popular in Mexican Spanish and Spanish all over the feo. We probably wouldn't use ugly to say what an ugly, it's a gross looking day. Okay, yeah, well, we might, but look what an ugly day it is. Mira, see, qué día tan feo hace. What a bad way. He's talking about the weather being awful.
Feo, está nublado, está lloviendo, hace frío.
Cloudy, raining,
Yo no quiero
cold.
salir con este tiempo.
Oh, look. Necesito ir, necesito comprar. When I need to do it, when I want to do it. Oh, no quiero salir. I don't want to go out. No quiero salir. When I'm the one who doesn't want to do it, it's verb plus infinitive. All right. It's only going to change to verb plus subjunctive once I add on a second and different person. Okay, that's the purpose of this video. So pay attention to when it changes.
Yo quiero quedarme en casa.
I want to stay at home.
Yo no quiero salir.
I don't want to go out.
Yo lo que quiero es quedarme aquí todo el día. En el
Oh,
sofá.
I want to sit here on the sofa all day
Así.
long. Just like this.
Ay, qué bien se está aquí. Yo no quiero salir. Yo quiero quedarme aquí. Yo quiero quedarme en casa. Con esta mantita, calentito
Oh,
así.
this nice little
Quiero
warm
quedarme así
blankie.
todo el día. Tranquilo. Ay, yo no quiero salir.
Yeah,
Aquí se está
chilling out.
muy bien.
I don't want to go outside.
Aquí se está
I don't want to
muy
leave.
bien. Pero necesito tomar café.
But I need to drink
Necesito comprar leche.
I need to buy milk.
Necesito ir al supermercado.
Go to the supermarket.
Ay. He tenido una idea. Voy a llamar a Carlos, a mi
I'm
amigo
gonna call Carlos
¿Para
as
qué
his
están
friend.
los amigos, no? ¿Para qué están los amigos?
What are friends
Carlos,
for?
hola, soy yo. No me encuentro bien. No me encuentro bien.
No me encuentro bien. I don't find myself well. This is a way of saying no estoy bien. No me encuentro bien es igual a no estoy bien. I don't feel so hot. No me encuentro bien. I don't feel so hot.
Me duele la cabeza,
My head
me duele
hurts.
la garganta,
My
tengo
throat
un poco de
hurts.
fiebre.
I've got a little fever.
Ay, creo que estoy
I
enfermo.
think I'm sick.
Sí, tengo frío, tengo mucho frío. Mira, Carlos, mira,
Hey,
tú eres
Carlos.
mi amigo, ¿verdad?
You're my friend,
Sí,
yeah?
eres mi amigo. Yo te caigo bien, te caigo bien, tú a mí también me caes
You,
muy
you
bien.
like me? You
Mira,
like me? You're my
te voy
buddy?
a pedir un favor, si no puedes,
I'm gonna
si no
ask you a
puedes
favor.
hacerlo, me dices que no, ¿eh?
If you can't do this, tell me that you can't.
Mira, que no tengo leche,
I have no milk.
no tengo leche en casa, ni azúcar, y
No
papel
sugar.
higiénico tampoco.
TP.
Y
Not that
entonces,
either.
sí, entonces, bueno, necesito, es un favor, si no
This
puedes,
is a really a
si no
favor. It's
puedes,
a big ask.
me dices que no, sí, vale. Bueno, mira, necesito que vayas, necesito
I need that
que
you
vayas
go.
al supermercado,
I need you
¿vale?
to go.
Necesito que vayas al supermercado y
I need you to go to the supermarket.
quiero que compres, bueno,
I want you to buy.
si puedes, quiero que compres leche.
I want you to buy some milk.
Quiero que compres leche porque yo el café, de verdad, no puedo tomar el café sin leche. No me gusta, está muy amargo.
It's so bitter.
Sí, semidesnatada, sí, semidesnatada. Y azúcar
Not full
moreno,
fat, yeah.
azúcar moreno.
Oh,
Y
some
papel
sugar.
higiénico,
Oh,
sí.
brown sugar.
Quiero que
Toilet
Sí,
paper.
quiero que
Put that on
compres papel higiénico,
I want you to buy toilet
leche
paper,
semidesnatada
milk.
y azúcar, pero azúcar moreno.
Sure.
Ah, quiero también que compres también una botella de vino,
I'd like you to buy a bottle
Bueno.
of wine.
No, hoy no
Well, no, I'm not gonna drink
quiero
now,
beber
today.
vino, yo hoy no quiero beber vino, pero no sé, mañana, pasado
I don't
mañana,
know.
no sé, si sobrevivo,
Day
si
after tomorrow,
sobrevivo porque
maybe?
estoy muy mal,
If I survive
pues
this,
quiero beber vino, ¿no? Entonces,
I'm gonna want to drink some wine if I
sí,
survive
es
this.
posible, sí, ¿vale? ¿Sí? Eres genial, Carlos, Carlos, de
you're
verdad, me
great,
caes
Carlos.
muy bien, ¿eh?
Ah.
Estoy muy mal, ¿eh? Bueno, tú
I
vienes,
like you, Carlos.
quiero que vengas. Vale, yo no puedo salir, no
I
puedo
want you to
salir,
come.
no puedo salir, bueno, yo quiero salir, Carlos, yo quiero salir, pero es que no puedo, necesito ir al supermercado, pero yo solo no, estoy muy mal. Quiero que vengas a mi casa,
I want
quiero
you to
que me
come to my
traigas
house. I
la
want you to
compra
bring
a mi
me
casa.
the
Yo lo siento,
purchases,
Carlos, pero no, estoy muy mal. Sí,
I'm in bad
vale,
shape.
oye, pues muchas gracias, ¿eh? Muchas gracias,
Gracias,
eres el mejor amigo que tengo.
You're
Bueno,
the best friend
eres
that I have.
el único amigo que tengo.
You're the only
Sí,
one I've
bueno,
got,
muy
man.
bien. Vale, Carlos,
Okay.
un beso. Bueno, un beso no, un abrazo. Adiós.
Yeah.
Hasta luego.
Abrazo. Hugs and kisses, yeah. Okay.
Se lo ha creído, se lo ha creído, se ha
Hey,
creído
believe that one.
que estoy enfermo.
He thought I was
Ay,
sick.
ay, qué bien, qué bien, qué bien. Uy, ahora ha salido el sol. ¡Qué
Wow,
calor!
sun came out.
Oh,
Ooh,
ha
it's warm.
salido el sol. Voy a salir a la
I'm
terraza
gonna go out on the
y me
terrace.
voy a sentar aquí a
sit
tomar
down.
el sol. Eso es lo que quiero hacer hoy.
This is what
Quedarme
I wanna
aquí
do.
tomando el sol.
I wanna
Pobre
bask in the
Carlos,
sun.
pobre Carlos.
Poor Carlos.
Bueno, no quiero que penséis que soy un mal amigo.
I don't want you guys to think that I'm a bad friend.
No quiero que vosotros penséis que tengo mucha cara.
Oh, yeah, I don't want you to think I'm cheeky. Mucha cara, you know, this is something people do. Cara dura. I don't want you to think I'm a jerk. Yeah. No quiero que penséis, and that's just a so here we would say que piensen. No quiero que ustedes piensen. I don't want that you guys think. Okay. Now it's not what I want to do anymore. It's what I want somebody else to do. Okay.
Un poco sí, porque
Well, yeah, I'm a little cheeky. Okay.
bueno, no tenía ganas de salir, no quería
I didn't feel
salir.
like going out.
Quería estar aquí en casa.
I wanted to just
Y le he dicho a Carlos una mentira. Es una
Yeah,
mentira
I told
pequeña,
a lie.
no pasa nada. Le he tomado un poco el pelo. Le he dicho que estaba enfermo,
I
no
was
pasa
pulling his
nada.
leg a little bit.
Es que no quería salir, no quería salir.
Yeah, I didn't want to go
Le he
out.
dicho que vaya él.
I told him to go.
Lo que sí quiero que comprendáis muy bien
What I want you to understand,
es que cuando yo digo yo quiero,
when I say I
y
want,
hablo de mí mismo,
and I'm talking about myself,
se usa el infinitivo.
you do the
Yo
infinitive.
quiero beber café, yo
wanna drink
quiero
coffee.
beber leche,
wanna
yo
drink
quiero
milk.
desayunar,
I wanna
yo
have breakfast.
quiero... Lo mismo con necesitar. Yo necesito tomar café, yo necesito tomar leche con el café, necesito tomar azúcar. Necesito y quiero se usan con infinitivo porque estoy hablando de mí mismo,
Because I'm
estoy
talking
hablando
about
de lo que
myself,
yo
I
quiero,
use
de
the
lo que yo
infinitive.
necesito. Hay una sola persona, en
Just
este
one
caso
person in
yo.
that case. Whoop. Just one person. Okay.
Pero, y esto es muy
Ah.
importante, esto es algo que tenéis que
This is something
meteros
you gotta
en la cabeza.
stick in your head.
Si yo quiero
If I want
que otra persona
that another
haga
person,
algo,
something,
o si yo
does
necesito que otra persona haga algo, entonces
whoop. And I've got some little hitches here. Well, okay.
uso el subjuntivo.
Then subjuntivo. Okay. So there you go. That is all we really need to do for that. So it's when I am imposing what I want on somebody else. So it won't be necessarily just the verb querer, right? It might be esperar, it might be necesitar, it might be preferir. Any kind of verb that imposes a desire that I have on somebody else, that second other verb after the word que has to become subjunctive. That is what they mean by the mood. I have a mood that I want something, I'd like something, and I don't really, that other part is not yet happening. So that's why it goes into that funky other realm or mood that we call subjuntiva. Okay? ¿Entienden? Understand? Sí?
Yeah.
Pregunta, Esteban, dime.
Sí. Después de tener que, tengo que,
Tengo que, tengo que usar
ayudarme.
el ratón, ¿sí?
¿Qué?
Tengo que usar el ratón, por ejemplo.
Okay. Hold on, my mind doesn't work. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I say, you must help me. Now, that's a command.
Ah,
Now,
tienes
this-
que ayudarme.
see, now you wouldn't use subjunctive. Now, if I say, I hope that you help me,
Ah,
then it becomes subjunctive. It's this down, I'll call it a wobble.
sí. Eso, sí. Tienes razón. So, okay. It is possible to overthink this. Isn't that the stinker of it? Okay. Tener, have, is not a verb of desire, even if it means have to.
Mhm.
Yeah, even if it means obligation. And furthermore, look at what I'm saying. You have to help. You are the one, and you have to do the helping.
There's no doubt. there.
Those two verbs are talking about the same person. Okay, but I want that you help me. I have now injected two people. Okay, you have to help. You are the one who has an obligation to do the helping.
Okay, it's actually tienes
Both-
que ayudarme. You must
Both
help
those
me.
verbs are
Okay.
talking about the same human being. Okay, the may.
Would it
But the
be
may isn't doing anything.
Mhm.
I'm on the receiving end. We hope for getting help. Yeah. Tienes que ayudarme. Tener que never uses subjuntiva.
You could say, espero que me ayudes.
Perfecto. Ok, más ejemplos. Espero que tú me ayudes. Prefiero, I want to be more polite than espero. Prefiero que me ayudes. Quiero que me ayudes. ¿Sí? Even, me gusta que tú me ayudes. Even that, not I like to help, I like it that you're helping me. Because even that verb of emotion, it's emotion about somebody else doing something. Me gusta que me ayudes. I like it that you help me. Even that.
Mhm.
This is a lot to wrap your mind around, is it not? No, es difícil. It is hard. We have no good comparison in English. And I can give you a list like, with the weirdo verbs, wishing, verbs of emotion. That verbs of emotion one, that was hard for me for years and years and years. Any emotion. I could say, I am sad that you're doing something. I am happy that you're doing something. Wow, I like it that you're doing something. I'm scared that you might do something. All of those are emotions, but I'm talking about what somebody else is doing. And that's why. Ay, qué difícil. Okay. Es buena pregunta, Esteban. That is a really good question. But tener que and the infinitive, they're both talking about the same person. They have an obligation to do something. We're not splitting it up into two different people. Okay. That little pronoun me, ayudarme, does not count as a different person, right? The me is who's receiving the help, not who's doing the help. Okay. Hay otra pregunta. Any other question? No? Okay. I want to show you some other things before we go do our practice. And then when we get to practice time, I want you guys to tell me if you want to do it all together in a big group or in smaller session. Yeah, I mean, me da igual. It's all the same to me. Okay. I'm also going to now quickly go through some examples you saw from our little Coco story, yeah? And I wove our Coco in thematic. God, I can't always do that. I'm so proud of myself. I wove in the Coco story along with the Dia de Muertos. Yeah, I related it. Oh, I want you to notice how frequently this comes up. Okay, today I will tell you the plot
para que practiques el
so that you can practice. And para qué is something you're going to see today. Para qué, not just para, mind you, but para qué. Para qué indicates I'm going to inject a different person. Voy a contar, I'm going to do the telling. Les voy a contar el trama, I'm going to tell you the plot. Para que tú practiques, so that you practice. I'm going to tell so that. Para que is frequently, is used with subjunctive when I plug in a different person. I got to be plugging in a different person, a second one, not the same person as contar. I'm telling so you practice. Okay, I'm not telling it so that I can practice. No, that would be les voy a contar para practicar. I'm going to tell you so that I do the practicing. Les voy a contar para que tú practiques. I'm going to do the talking so that you can practice. Right? Para, by itself, without a que, without a different human being, para would have an infinitive. Voy a contarles la historia para practicar. Infinitive. I'm talking and I'm doing the practicing, but les voy a contar para que tú practiques, but I'm going to tell something so you can practice your listening and understanding. Okay, so there's the first one. Para que you're going to see a lot today. We're not going to play the whole thing.
Miguel
Look,
quiere ser
same person, quiere ser cantante. He wants to be a singer. He himself wants to be a singer. No subjunctive, no hay subjuntivo. We have not injected a second person. Okay, so we don't need it there. Bien. Okay, odia la música. They talked about all this. There were buried within this all kinds of examples. Oh, aquí, otro ejemplo. La abuela de Miguel, Miguel's grandma, la abuela de Miguel.
y la abuela de Miguel no quiere que él toque su guitarra.
No quiere que él toque su guitarra. She doesn't want that he
Playing guitar.
plays guitar. She doesn't play guitar. She's not talking about herself playing guitar. She's talking about she doesn't want, and want and doesn't want, both talk about desires. This is just a negative desire. No quiere que él toque. She doesn't want him to play. Okay, bien. So throughout this, there were a whole bunch of examples sprinkled, and I probably won't find, oh, and now you're going to see
Todas las familias se
all
reúnen
families get
para
together
recordar.
to remember. The families get together to remember. What the family does, they remember. We don't have a second different person. Just the infinitive there. Recordar. Okay. So I want you to see the difference. There are times when we just need the infinitive. If you're talking about only one person doing it and they're doing it for themselves. Okay. And there were lots of examples sprinkled throughout, pero, basta, enough of that, okay? So if you didn't notice some of those, I want you to go back because there were at least maybe 4 or 5, and it's tough for me to move through it. You know, had I written down every little time marker, I would have done a better job of that, but there are a lot of examples like that. So, okay, let's take a look first at what some of these, just how do we make these little subjunctives before we ask you to do it on your own. Okay, we're taking little baby steps all along the way. Vamos a ver. Let's see if you can make a subjunctive out of these. And they only give us the stub. Right? We don't have the trigger, the desire or the emotion that is pushing this other subjunctive forward. But if you just had to say, ooh, how do I take empezar and make it into subjuntivo?
Empecé.
Empiece. So what is, and it gets a funny little spelling thing, but what do you need to remember you start with to form a subjunctive? Because if you start with this, you can't go wrong. You start with
Yo form.
a yo form. Start with a yo form and you can't go wrong, okay? Can't go wrong. So empiezo, that Z changing to a C is just a spelling change. Notice, oh, said it correctly. When you spell it, it just gets that. Because I can't do ZE. Spanish doesn't allow you to have ZE next to each other. Okay. So empiezo, we ditch the O, we use the opposite vowel. It's an AR verb. So instead of an A ending, which you would think is normal, it would be an A ending. Yeah. Okay. This is a hard one. Pedir, this is a hard one because this is a stem change. This is a hard one. I'm going to give you this one because this is hard. Pidamos. It's a stem changer. It's an IR stem changer. It gets a stem change. It's an oddball. Let's move on to something that's more normal. Here's an irregular. Irregular. Ser is one of the dishes. Irregular verbs. I can't start with you.
Sean?
Sea, and it's los niños, so we need sean. See? La mamá, okay, un ejemplo. La mamá quiere que los niños sean buenos. The mom wants the kids to be good. Okay? Somebody might say, oh, mom wants you to go to bed. Mamá quiere que tú
Acueste.
que acuestes. Bien. Okay, this is all to get you in baby steps so you can express an independent thought later. He doesn't want his friends to go. Él no quiere que sus amigas vayan. This is one of the dishes irregular verbs. I can't start with boy because boy doesn't end with an O. So I got no O to drop. Vayan, yeah? Vayan. Bien. Okay. Difícil. I'll give you. Concluyo would be the yo form. So if I use the opposite for an IR verb, I need concluya. See? Let's do this one. See? Acordarse, to remember. This is same as recordar. It's just a reflexive verb. It's an equivalent to recordar. Que él se
Acuerde.
acuerde. Que él se acuerde. ¿Sí? Bien. La maestra quiere que esta clase, this teacher wants this class to read. Que esta clase
Leia.
Yeah.
Leon.
Lea.
Lea.
I start with Leo. And I get to Lea. See? Bien. Let's look at this one because this is very, very, very common. See?
Dish. Dish.
Dish. It's a dish.
Mhm.
See? I want you to give. I want you to give to this campaign. Go. How many times have you heard that in the last month?
Too
Yeah.
much. This.
Yes. See, el candidato quiere, the candidate wants, el candidato quiere que tú des, que tú le des más dinero, claro, sí. And let's do this one, because this one is a little bit odd. We have to start with bello, I see.
Bea.
Bella, bien, okay. So, this is your next baby step, which was to say, ooh, how do I make that subjunctive? And if I start with yo and just drop that O and switch to the wrong kind of ending, right? The one that was like, oh, that's not right. It's an AR verb. Yeah, okay. That is how you get to the subjunctive form. Okay, ¿vale? Bien. Okay. Bueno. Voy a darles los ejemplos aquí. Okay. Here was a little slide set I had sent you guys for practice. And I'll let you take a little mini vote in just a minute. So how do we form subjunctive? We always start with yo. We drop the O after the yo form. Presente, present tense, right? And then you add the opposite verb ending, okay? AR verbs look like ER-IR verbs. ER-IR verbs look like AR verbs. So you get these. So the reason that it's important to start with yo is that I have all these odd things that happen with various kinds of verbs. Cantar es muy regular. Cantar is very regular, so you can't go wrong with that. But you have stem changes, and those are going to happen. And you got the go verbs, right? That I have a yo ending that ends in a go that are they're kind of weird, right? But even though I start with vengo, I use an a ending because it's an IR verb, right? Venga, vengas, venga, vengamos, vengan, all of those, right? You want to remember that our dishes verbs, and this is the only one that maybe you're only going to use in that one form, but the other ones could be any form. These are the ones that don't start with yo, so they are technically irregular, but they still use an opposite vowel from what their infinitive is. So we're going to have these oddball things. De, vaya, sea, haya, esté, sepa, right? And here is the ding, ding, ding $1 million phrase. People just sometimes say this, para que sepas, just so you know, because now you don't, you don't yet, right? Somebody's telling you, ooh, just so you know, and they're going to give you a little tidbit of information because you don't know yet. Yeah. And they sometimes use this phrase para que sepas just sort of as a dangling hangnail because it's assumed that, oh, I want that you should know this fact, but they kind of leave that part off of it and they just say, oh, para que sepas, and they just use that by itself. Okay. Vale. Okay. And so We had some examples, ejemplos, ejemplos. Okay, we're just reminding you what weirdo verbs are. And ¿Dónde? Aquí. Here we go. Sometimes, here's one of the phrases we're going to practice together. This is a special phrase, the para qué, which comes up very, very frequently. Okay, and you're going to notice I have a yo verb, so that, and now you've got to inject a different person, and it cannot be yo. Okay. ¿Ustedes prefieren practicar todos juntos o en grupos pequeños?
Todos juntos.
Todos
I like
juntos,
that.
okay?
Yeah,
Because this causes stress. Causa estrés. It does cause stress, does it not? Sí. Es así, it is that way. Okay. So as not to cause stress. Para no causar, para no causar estrés. Vamos a practicar juntos, okay? And it will take you off screen for me. So if you raise your hand, I'm not ignoring you. I can't see you. Speak up. Hablen en voz alta. Okay. Quiero ejemplos. I want some examples. Te preparo una cena especial. ¿Para qué? I'm fixing you a special meal so that. How might
No
we-
tengas hambre.
Oh, but am I fixing it so that you're hungry?
Mm-mm.
No, so that you're not hungry.
So that you're not hungry. Para que no tengas hambre. Ay, sí, claro. Okay, I want to take some of these and pop them into a new screen. Uy, qué chiquitito. Tengo que ver aquí. Okay. Te preparo una cena especial para que no tengas hambre, so you're not hungry. Otra idea. Some other idea?
Yeah.
Para que podamos celebrar tu cumpleaños.
Para, perdón, otra vez. Para que
Podamos
podamos, so that we can.
celebrar tu cumpleaños.
El cumpleaños de alguien, somebody, ¿sí? Tu cumpleaños, ¿sí? Mañana es el día de cumpleaños de mi esposo, así que sí. Sí, te preparo una cena especial para que, sí, para que podamos. It's really important you have that que in here when you use the subjunctive. Para que podamos celebrar, so that we can celebrate. I am doing this, a yo verb, so that we switched it to nosotros. Bien, okay. Otra idea. There are a whole bunch of ways you can finish this up.
Para que estés feliz.
Para que estés feliz, so that you feel happy. Sí, para que se sienta especial, so that you feel
Special.
special. Para que otra.
That one's good.
Para que celebramos nuestro aniversario.
Para que celebremos. Celebremos, pero celebremos, ¿sí? Nuestro aniversario. Bien, excelente. Me gusta. I like it. ¿Para qué?
I had no ceballas. Casa con hambre.
Oh, para que, ok. Para que no te vayas con hambre, so you don't leave
Hungry.
hungry.
Oh, that's good.
Qué buena idea, sí. Para
Yeah.
que no te vayas con hambre, so you don't go away hungry. You don't walk away hungry. Fantástico. Me gusta mucho. Yo tengo un ejemplo. Para que no tengas que cocinar tú. Para que no tengas que cocinar tú. So that you don't have to do the cooking. Bien. Bueno. Ok. A ver. Bien, bien, bien. Ok. Bueno, momentito. Tengo que... Ok. Mi colega sale de la oficina temprano. Oh, my colleague is leaving. Uy, tengo que copiar. Mi colega sale de la oficina temprano para que he's leaving the office early so that, and remember, we gotta put somebody else in there, so this is a little bit tough.
Mhm. Ella pueda ir a la cita de médico.
Ella pueda ir a la cita.
Ajá, ir a la cita de médico.
Oh, de médico. Sí. So that my colleague is leaving so that she can go to a doctor's appointment.
She's
But
able to-
not talking about her, but so that she's taking somebody else.
Mm.
Let me show you the difference.
Oh,
Hay una diferencia. There is a difference. A ver. Mi colega sale de la oficina. Temprano. Para ir a su cita con el médico.
oh, okay. So explain the differences now.
This is a good one. This is a hard one, okay? My colleague is leaving the office early so that somebody else can't, yeah. Actually, this works a little bit better without subjunctive, doesn't it? It's easier to think of examples, yeah? But so that somebody else can go.
Oh, see, I thought she was the colleague, but
But,
she's leaving early, so she is able to go to her appointment.
but
That's
then
how
it's
I
gotta be this, but then it's gotta be this, because I don't have a change from my colleague. She's the one who also
Oh,
wants to
because
know.
she's the one leaving. Oh. Oh.
Okay, yeah, okay, otro ejemplo. This is maybe a harder one to think of. So let me give you one.
Oh, it's
Mi
like,
colega sale de la oficina temprano para que todos puedan asistir a la reunión. You know, maybe kind of a lame example, but yeah. So notice if she wants to,
right, because she's doing
yeah,
the.
do it herself, I don't need subjunctive. Okay, that's an important thing to know. Okay, sometimes we don't need subjunctive. Okay, let's look at this one. Es más fácil. This is a little bit easier, I think. Es más fácil.
Okay.
Okay, a ver. Te doy más dinero para qué? I'm giving you more money so that
Tú no me preguntas, or no, wait, tú puedes a la boca cerrada.
Tú puedas.
A la boca cerrada.
Boca
I don't
cerrada,
know.
closed mouth.
So
Ah,
that you keep your mouth shut. A
ah,
little Italian
Oh,
thing here, a little
para que
Italian
tú,
thing.
para que
Cállate,
tú
cállate.
cierres la boca.
Right.
Oh, okay, so I
Para
didn't
que
have
tú
order.
cierres la boca. So that you'll
Oh.
shut your mouth. Ah, okay. Let's think of a different way we might say that. Para que, but you got the right idea. Para
No.
que tú te calles.
La boca.
You stay
Quiet.
quiet.
Mm.
Para que tú te calles, so that you shut up.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. ¿Sí?
Mhm.
Ah, es posible decir para que tú cierres la boca. Sí, es posible también. ¿Ok? Bueno, ¿qué más? What else might we say? We might say something that is less funny.
Tú puedas comprar un buen regalo.
Ah, sí. Para que tú puedas comprar un buen regalo.
Ah.
So that you can buy a nice gift.
Yeah,
Eso sí, sí.
that's nice.
Ah, te doy más dinero para que.
I had to compress un nuevo vestido.
Para que compres un nuevo vestido. How do you think we would, what teeny tiny word might I add to this? Para que compres un nuevo vestido. To teeny tiny tweak. What little word might I insert to say that you buy this for yourself?
Oh,
Contigo?
para,
Para
Not
ti.
Para
like
ti?
contigo, but you're on the right track.
Hmm.
para ti. Para ti. Para,
Even shorter,
Hey,
A ti?
hey,
que compres.
they compress.
Oh.
Que compres, you
yourself
buy
buy.
for yourself.
Okay.
Ah, para que te compres un nuevo vestido. Para ti mismo, para ti misma for yourself. Okay, but the most colloquial way, the most common way would be te compres, you buy it for yourself. Okay, bueno, otra idea, another idea with this.
I have para que te puedas comprar un suéter abrigado.
Okay, para que puedas comprar un suéter.
Yes.
Okay, para que puedas comprar un suéter. And notice,
Yes.
we don't change both of those. We only change the subjunctive in that first one, the puedas part, right? Yeah. It won't be a puedas compres, it'll just be puedas comprar un suéter.
Abrigado.
O abrigo.
Is that it? Warm.
Oh! Okay, okay, sí, abrigado, sí, okay, vale, sí, entiendo. Okay, muy bien, muy bien. Otra idea. So that,
No estés hambre. You're not hungry.
que no,
Tú no estés. Oh, no, would you say that or would you use tener? You would use tener. Que para que tú no
No tengas.
tengas hambre.
hambre.
so that you're not hungry. Yeah, sí, eso, okay. Muy bien, muy bien. Okay, vale, buenas ideas. So you see, we've got a whole bunch of ideas we can use. Ah, te explico todo. Te explico todo. How many times have you said this to somebody? I'm explaining this to you so that.
Comprendas las instrucciones.
Ah, comprendas las opciones. So you understand your choices, your options. para que comprendas las opciones. Sí, exacto. Instead of comprendas, we might use entiendas.
Mhm.
Equivalente, you know, equivalent, just a different verb, means the same thing. Sí, excelente, excelente. Bueno, ¿qué más?
Para que tú entiendas is what I had, so.
Para que tú entiendas.
So just half of that, no, without mentioning options.
Sí, sí, bien, ok. ¿Para qué?
Para que tú no me preguntes otra vez.
Ah, para que tú no me preguntes otra vez. So you don't ask me again. Para que tú no me preguntes otra vez. Eso, eso. Ok. Me gusta, sí. Bien, 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 bien. Ok. Vamos a ver. So,
Otra,
perdón, otro, sí, otro ejemplo.
para que como, o para que sepas cómo quieres votar.
Para que sepas cómo
Quieres
quieres
votar.
votar. Ok. Ok. So that you know
Mhm.
how you want to vote. Sí.
Mm.
Ok. Bien. Exacto. Ok. Vale. Fantástico. So just as para que means so that, okay? And notice in all those examples, you know, this is something that it isn't really a real action right now, right? Whatever we listed after para que had to include a different human being from the first part of the sentence. Okay. And also that activity is something, well, you may want it to be true, but it isn't quite yet. So para que, and then putting a new person in does require subjunctive, and it's quite common. And the other phrase I want you to get used to, because these are not like the weirdo rules you learn. They're a little different, but they're very common. If we need an antes de que, we are going to have to 100% of the time use subjunctive. And I'm going to show you some differences between antes and antes de que, okay, in a bit. But let's see if we can build this first. Ven a mi fiesta, come to my party. That's a command. Come to my party before.
Vayas a la tienda.
Vayas a la tienda, before you go to the store. Okay. Come to the party before.
Se acaban las margaritas.
Se acaban.
Like before they run out. So se acaban.
Salgan.
Yeah, se acaban, the antes de se acaban is what I thought the word was.
Acaben.
Like, yeah, the word to run out of. Margarita.
Oh, before they run out of beer?
Yeah, or the margaritas. Yeah.
Margaritas.
Se
Okay.
acaban las margaritas.
Las margaritas, okay. Las margaritas. Okay, so here it's going to be really important that I hear that little vowel change, okay? Antes de que acaben las margaritas, before they run out.
Okay.
Yeah, before there are no more of those. Importante, antes de que acaben las acaben, ¿sí? Bien, ok, vale. Antes de que,
Antes de que lleguen tus amigos.
vengan tus amigos,
Before your friends come.
before your friends come, yeah. Hey, you come before your friends get here. Oh, hey, come before my parents get back.
Mhm.
Oh, who remembers this from their teenage years? Come
Yeah.
before my parents come back home. Antes de que vuelvan mis padres.
Vuelvan.
Ven a la fiesta antes de que vuelvan mis padres. Come to the party before my friends, before my mom and dad get home.
Mm.
Before they come back. We want to party hardy and then, and once they come in, that ain't gonna happen anymore, yeah? So antes de que, and it's really important that we've got this que in here, right? And we have a different person here. It might be, it might be an ellos, it might be, these things run out, it might be any of that. Antes de que. Antes de que means before. If we're talking about an action before, this hasn't, because the definition of antes de que, this hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. This hasn't happened yet. The rule is for things that haven't happened yet and you really just don't know, it's got to be subjunctive. Okay, so antes de que is a biggie. And we'll look at when we're done, when you don't use subjunctive, because sometimes you don't, just like with para, if it's only para and the same human being, then it's infinitive. The same thing is going to happen with antes, but we'll see that in a minute. Okay, tenemos que limpiar la casa antes de que. We got to clean, hey, we got to clean the house before
Mis padres regresan a la casa.
sí, antes de que regresen mis padres.
Oh, regresen mis padres.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually we wind up plugging the verb in first.
Okay.
It's just a habit they have with this.
Would
Antes de que regresen mis padres. You could say antes de que mis padres regresen. Yes, you could.
Okay.
But it's more common to flip the word order there. I can't really give you a reason why. It's just what people do. Okay.
Would you say
So,
regrese mamá or mamá regrese?
regrese mamá
Regrese.
before mom comes back. Regrese mamá, because mamá is only one person. Regrese. Sí.
Llegan mis amigos.
Sí, antes de que lleguen
Lleguen.
mis amigos.
Lleguen.
Lleguen mis amigos. Antes de que lleguen mis amigos. Before my friends get here. Eso. Ok. Tenemos que limpiar antes de que... Otra idea.
The same thing.
Empiece la fiesta. We have to clean before the party
Starts, yeah.
starts. Yeah,
Oh.
sí.
Lo vea mi esposa.
Ah,
Bueno, yeah.
antes de que vea todo mi esposa. Before my wife sees all this mess. Yeah, uy, sí. Me gusta, me gusta. Ok. Vale, magnífico. Ok. Escribe el número de teléfono. Hey, write down this phone number. Antes de que
Que olvides lo que es.
olvidas, sí. Antes de que lo olvides. Antes de que lo olvides. Before you forget it. Yeah.
Lo que es.
If you're writing it down, you haven't forgotten it yet.
Right. So
But just lo olvides. probably not olvides lo que es, because that's too many words. They're gonna shorten it to just that, lo.
Mhm.
Antes de que lo olvides, before it,
It's forgotten, not your,
yeah.
because then it's the
Okay.
same thing, right?
Yet you forget.
Writing and you forget, isn't that the same?
Yeah, lo olvides is just talking about el número de teléfono, that's it.
But you're writing. You are writing and you are forgetting, or is the use
Yeah,
some-
oh, yes,
Would it be lo
But-
olvide?
but,
is it different?
but with these command structures, this, might happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, couldn't you think of it as, I want you to write this down before you forget? And it's just implied.
yeah, it's implied, okay, yeah. So let me show you some examples of when we don't need subjunctive. Just the infinitive will do, okay? Just the infinitive is gonna do us fine. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, okay, bye. Uso el carro para manejar a la oficina. I use the car
Drive to the
to
office.
drive to work or para llegar a la oficina. Yeah. I'm using the car and I'm the one who's doing the driving, right? Estoy hablando para practicar mi español. Bien, bien. Estudiamos esto para entender el subjuntivo. See, okay. So, para, no change in subject. We don't need that word que. Okay, we don't need that word que. We're keeping whoever's doing that first verb activity, we're talking about the same person. And the same thing might happen with antes de. So notice there's a difference between antes de que and antes de. Just antes de. Okay, por ejemplo, lávate las manos. You're telling somebody to do what?
Wash your hands.
Wash
Sí,
your hands.
lávate las manos antes de comer. Wash your hands before
Read.
eating. We might say before you eat. We might say before eating. See, we do different things in English. We just do oddball different things, right? And antes de comer. Bien. Cepíllate los dientes antes de acostarte. Bien, see? If I'm not really changing up anything there and who's doing it, I might just use antes de, but not antes de que. Yeah, these are kind of picky but important things. See? Okay. Okay. Bien. Preguntas, questions? Little questions?
I have
I
a
have
quick,
a question.
Yeah.
Good.
who wants to go first? Did you want to go? I just wanted to know what would be the correct way to say, was the one on going to the party. antes de que, and I was trying to say the streets get icy. How would you correctly say that?
Oh,
I think
okay.
they're still being elsewhere.
Yeah, antes de que,
What verb would you use?
antes de que las calles se conviertan en,
Oh, covered? Okay.
sí, antes de que, antes de que el hielo cubra la calle, until the ice covers over the streets.
I was just curious
See?
because I gave up on that one because I was thinking, I don't know how to say that. So,
Antes de que haga mal tiempo, before it's bad weather.
okay.
¿Sí? Antes de que el hielo, ay, sí, cubra la calle. Sí. Antes de que el tráfico sea difícil, sea feo. So traffic gets bad. Yeah. Okay. ¿Entienden? Understand? ¿Sí? ¿Bien?
Didn't know.
Vale. These are, well, es algo incómodo.
Mhm.
It is uncomfortable.
A veces sí.
A veces. So where you want to be right now is that, so that it's not uncomfortable 100% of the time. That it's only uncomfortable part of the time, so that when you hear it, yeah, when you hear it, you'll be like, oh, that hasn't happened yet. Okay, because if you didn't notice, go back and listen to the Coco thing again and make a little hash mark every time you turn on those subtitles. Make a little hash mark. You're going to hash mark about 4 or 5 times in 11 minutes. And it's not a lesson on subjunctive. It just comes up. Okay, you are going to hear it as people tell stories, because it's kind of impossible to avoid. It's impossible to avoid, so that you're a little more comfortable with understanding it when you hear it. Okay, bien, bien,
Bien.
vale.
Sí.
Okay. Bueno, okay. Vamos a ver. I want to preview some things I would like you to do for the weekend. And we're going to change gears up a little bit. We're going to do one thing that's very vocabulary related and one thing that's very just listening comprehension, but a lot of it is past tense. So kind of reviewing. Yeah, reviewing past tense things. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. But this is a great story, and it's kind of spooky related. I see. Es un cuento. Puedes entender esta historia. This is a rather long video, but instead of the videos where they've got all the subtitles on, this is something she's actually going to go through this same story. I believe it is 3 different times. She's going to go through the whole story once. And the first time, just listen, knowing, oh, she's going to use a lot of past. So I'm listening for imperfecto and pretérito, right? Because we need those 2 past tenses. Okay. So first time through, just listen for the story, through the story, and see, see what you can pick up. Second time, she's going to have fill in the blanks and see if you can, in the fill in the blank, because I'm going to give you the fill in the blank that matches the video. Oh, see if you can fill in the right verb she says without putting on any subtitles. Yeah, second time through. And I think she shows them to you on the screen as well. And it's a very cute story. And then the third time going through, she's going to show you what the answers are. So it'll show you if you got them right or not. So this is going to be a video that you're going to watch, and it's quite long. It's like just shy of 20 minutes. Casi 20 minutos. Okay. What you're also going to get is. Uy, ¿dónde? Momentito. You're going to get a worksheet that, oops, has this on there. It's not the kind of thing where you can type in the answers on this, because I had to do cut and paste stuff. But it gives you some vocabulary and some background. So there's a little reading thing to do. Oh, and I've got to see if that's included in these or not. Okay, but she's going to have some little terms. Bajo tierra, bajo, oh, perdón, I don't have my share screen on, perdón. Okay, so you're going to get a sheet that also looks like this. It's going to correspond to what you hear with the video, okay? And the fill in the blank exercise with the video. So, oh, there's some little terms here that you probably want to look up. So the things in orange here are some ideas you want to look up. Some of them you may know. Actually, let's go through some of these. Bajo tierra, you can probably guess. Tierra is earth, see? Bajo tierra
Underground.
is underground.
Underground.
Underground, yeah. Se remonta a is going to mean something dates back to. So she's going to tell you how long ago this original building was constructed. Se remonta a dates back to. Siglo XVIII. Siglo XVIII is
18th century.
18th century.
18th century, which does not mean 1800, it means
17.
1700s, yeah. Okay, because you haven't had that since high school. Who does that, yeah? Por casualidad, it looks like casual, doesn't it?
No, that's
By chance or something?
Yeah.
Por casualidad, by chance, okay? Muros gruesos. Muros is a term that means a wall, but it's like I wouldn't talk about the inside of my wall in my house as a muro, because a muro is a great big imposing, like great big cinder block kind of, yeah, wall. Okay, like an exterior wall. It's a ponderously heavy wall, a muro. It's not a little fence you put up around your yard, okay? Muro grueso, muros gruesos, thick walls. She's going to talk about, a special place she visited in her hometown. Piedra y ladrillo. Piedra is
Stone.
Stones are rock.
Ladrillo is also
Yeah,
a building material. Brick. Okay. Expulso is going to be a past. It comes from expulsar. And you might be able to guess it. Expulsar is to expel, kick out. Okay. Azotar is a very special verb, so I wanted to make sure I went over that one with you. Azotar, okay, azotó es la forma, azotó. Azotar is to lash. Azotar is often like whip. Azotar is often used when you're talking about a storm that
The wind and rain.
beats on. Yeah, azotar is talking about something beating on something else, like winds and a storm, or like pounding rain. Okay, so you're going to hear azotó. Horario is a place where you pray. Cripta,
The crypt.
a crypt. This story is going to be about a crypt. Yeah. Enterrar is
Bury, no?
to bury. And notice how bajo tierra means underground, but enterrar is our word inter comes from the exact same thing. Okay, inter, meaning you put a body underground, right? Enterrar, to bury. And enfermedad, you can guess that one. That means
Sick.
a sickness, an illness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're going to have various things to fill in the blank as you listen. And in some of these, well, anyway, you're going to have various fill in the blank exercises. And she shows you pictures of these places, but the video, you'll see it firsthand. So you've got quite a bit to do with that. Okay. And here she gives some more verb definitions here. Yeah. So that you know what those are. And we'll see how many answers you can get from listening to the video, but she's going to repeat this a couple of times, and her Spanish is quite clear. She does not have the strong, even though she's from Argentina, she does not have that strong thing, because she's not from Buenos Aires. She's actually from the west side of the country, where that is not so predominant. I mean, she hears it, she absolutely knows it, but she doesn't speak with it herself. So you're going to get those little files to help yourself work through that exercise. So this will be not on subjunctive, but just on recognizing a story in the past. Okay, that. And I also want to give you some, I will also be sending you a couple of videos that talk about art vocabulary. We had a request from some folks to introduce some art vocabulary. And so the prompts I'm going to give you will not be related to subjunctive. We're going to jump into some vocabulary next week to break things up a little bit. And I'm going to send you some prompts to talk about what kind of art, and it won't necessarily be visual art. It might be musical based art. Yeah. Could be any of the arts. It could be acting, plays, lo que sea, whatever it may be. We're going to do a little bit with the arts and prompts for you to talk about the arts and what kinds of arts you like. And, you know, what kind of things you enjoy in leisure time for that. Bien? Bien. Vale? Okay. Because we had that special request from a couple of people. And we had a little bit of art prep with even some of our Dia de Muertos video a little bit. You know, the arts encompass physical things we make, things we listen to, things we watch. It comprises lots of different subjects. Eso es todo. Bien, bien.
Bien.
Hay otra pregunta para la semana que viene. Are there any other things you want to dive a little more into in depth this session or next week in particular? See or no?
No sé.
Some of the vocabulary with art will coincide kind of nicely with some English words. You're going to notice some cognates. But what I'm going to want you to focus on is pronouncing them the Spanish way instead of anglicizing them. Sometimes it's helpful to get some of that vocabulary where it's a really close cognate, but make sure you make it sound Spanish. Okay, that moral is moral. Yeah, not mural. Moral, moral, un mural. See? Yeah, that word muros gruesos, thick walls, connects to the idea of moral. Moral is artwork on a thick wall. Yeah, that's what that is. Mural, a mural. So, okay. Bien?
Bien.
Bien, bien? Okay. Fantastico. So a little change of pace for next week, but it's good to do that a little bit. A little more vocabulario, and you'll get your prompts for ideas to talk about things that you like with the arts next week, your own tastes. Okay? Bien? ¿Todo bien?
No, gracias.
Ok.
Gracias.
Espero que llueva donde ustedes están, ¿sí? Aquí hablamos un poquito antes de la clase que llovió mucho. Aquí en mi pueblo llovió muchísimo y quizás no en Scottsdale, no sé. Pero espero
Así,
que
así.
llueva un poco. No, solamente un poquito, ¿eh?
Poquito. Yeah.
Un poquito. Mejor que nada, ¿no?
Depende de dónde estás.
Sí, depende. Depende de la ubicación. Really depends on your location. La ubicación. Eso es. Bien. Vale, fantástico. Y eso es, yeah. And I am going to keep it to that because it is a longish video and it will require that you think and go back and rewind a little bit. So I don't want to give you too much to cover for next week. ¿Ok? Entonces, sí, nos vemos más tarde entonces. Y espero que ustedes, sí, que ustedes tengan buen fin de.
You too.
Good weekend, ¿no?
Gracias.
Bien.
Hey, you don't have to say
Excellent.
semana?
No, pues no, sí, buen fin de semana, sí, correcto, pero es muy común decir buen fin de, buen fin de. Fin de es fin de semana. It's a shortened term. We will maybe, we should maybe do a little bit with talking about some shortened terms, short terms.
Yeah, that would be good because there
Yeah,
are things that
colloquially, there are quite a few of those. Fin de is one of them, but there are some others too, things that we shorten. The other one you already know is BC,
Sí.
instead
Oh,
of,
well, an abbreviated word.
yeah,
It's not
abbreviated
quite the
words.
same as the saying that isn't all there.
Yeah, no, it's not, yeah, it's not the same, but buen fin de, yeah, good weekend. Así es, okay? So, we'll maybe start with a little of that just for fun.